So I'm in multiple predicaments right now. Predicament number one, my garage is just... Predicament number two, yesterday I walked outside in this blown up garage and decided to take everything out of it. And then for some reason, I think I just know how to build things now and decided I want to insulate the whole garage. And just dropped everything and started doing that. You can see right here, we've gotten pretty far. We insulated all the walls kind of on the bottom side of the garage. I basically just freaking ran off to Menards, got my supplies, ran back out here and insulated till like midnight last night. All good. We've still got work to do, and I don't know how I'm going to do the ceiling, which is up there. Predicament number three. While I was cleaning out the garage yesterday, I noticed our bag of bird seed, which was tucked way back, hadn't been used really all year, just was blown out, and there's seeds everywhere. And as I started cleaning out the garage, cleaning boots, cleaning different things, and moving it to the front yard, I realized there's seeds in everything. So I think I have a serious mouse problem, and he's been stashing stuff everywhere. So last night I put out a trap. Let me show you where I put it. I put it right there. I put a little peanut butter on it, put a couple bird seeds on it, all good. I walk out here today, the trap is gone. Like, not, and I searched everywhere. I searched back there, I searched there. It's not like he moved it a couple feet when it flipped over. Like, he definitely triggered the trap, he's caught in it, and now he's gone. So two things. That is either a really freaking giant mouse, or we got a rat. Bottom line, we got three major issues, 8 hours of daylight, and we're gonna have freaking fun. So, stick with me, stay tuned. You won't be pissed.
What is?
I'm bringing this down to you. This is a giant metal pole.
For what?
I don't know, dude. It's so heavy. IRS. Oh God.
$12.99 square foot. That wouldn't be a bad gig. How many square feet is this garage thing?
I want to get him falling so bad.
Maneuvers, yo! I played Tetris. And fast forward 24 hours to right now. Yesterday was very successful. I don't know how much we filmed. I don't think that much. But very quick, I want to say huge shout out. And I've said this before on my channel. I have the best friends in the world, and I have the best neighbors in the world. Neighbor George and Amy right across the street from me. They let me borrow the ladder yesterday. I'm a new homeowner. I have a lot of tackle and a lot of fishing gear, but as far as just basic essentials around the house, I have very little. And they've been helpful, not just with the ladder, but with so many other things. So George, Amy, thank you. Number two, Cole and Brok. I don't know how much you saw of Cole, but Cole and Brok were here yesterday, and they're the reason that the ceiling got finished as far as insulation goes. I was hanging in the rafters. Brok was like hanging over the ladder in the rafters. Cole's handing stuff up to us. It's just, I have no idea how I could have done that by myself. So, Cole, Brok, thank you. I'll link their Instagram, YouTubes down below. Please check those guys out. But yeah, let me show you around really quick. The garage it's finished. Okay, so it's not like finished, but you can see we've got everything on the roof insulated, all the walls insulated. And check this out here. This isn't how I'm gonna heat the garage. This is just something I'm gonna use in the time being, but I had a vent-free Icehouse gas heater laying around by Mr. Heater. I had this in my room, and I've had it in my room for like 2 years, and I just anticipated on using this. Like, I got a really good deal for it. I was gonna use this if I ever built like a smaller ice house. And I might end up giving this to Cole. Him and his dad have a really small, like, little permanent shack it'd work perfect for. But for now, I just kind of mounted this on the wall. And this is what I'll use to kind of heat the garage until I install, like, a large Mr. Heater garage heater. I don't know the exact model I want, but I want something that's like right up in there. It hooks up to our gas at our house, and it's got like a little thermostat dial on the side. I know that's kind of over the top for this tiny little garage, but I think it'd be sweet. And especially since our house isn't very big, this is gonna be like a second living area. We're gonna put a lot of stuff out here, a lot of storage. So to have this part of our house heated, it's gonna be amazing. So I don't totally know if I'm gonna just put sheetrock around the outsides or if I'm not gonna do anything to the walls yet. I just wanted to get insulation up. So right away at the beginning of the morning yesterday, I checked my mouse trap, which I had right here, and it was gone. Later in the day, when I was just putting insulation up on this side of the house, I actually found it right here, tipped over. So this leads me to believe, whatever it is, yeah, it's still big, but it drug it all the way here and then went in this back, like, dungeon room. This is just kind of where our hot water heater is and some stuff like that, just a crawl space. But either way, I'm not totally sure if it's a mouse or a rat. I was also thinking it could be a chipmunk. Comment down below what you guys think I should do with the walls. What do you think I should do with the ceiling? I might just put plywood up there and use this as kind of storage up in the rafters. You guys that watch the videos are much smarter than me, so whatever you think, comment it down below. Yeah, next step, I probably just need to organize this garage, get things together. But I have a deer story, and it's like lunchtime. So I think I'm gonna cook some deer heart up on the brand new Mr. Buddy heater and cooker, and I'm gonna tell you about the deer story. I shot a buck this year. There we go. Just like that, kaboom. We got some heat in the garage now, and purdy insulation to keep it in. Alright, right now I'm just firing up the Buddy Flex cooker from Mr. Heater. This whole setup right here is brand new this year. I did a little unboxing on this, I think a couple videos ago. But for the first time today, I actually get the chance to cook on it. Obviously, remember, don't cook indoors. I'm in my garage, but I've got doors cracked, I've got windows cracked, so I'm basically outside. Yeah, so I just fired up the actual Buddy Flex heater. Now that I've got it turned to the accessory mode, I'm gonna fire up the Buddy Flex cooker. And then we can eat some lunch. So, hold the ignition down for a couple seconds, and then hit the ignition. There we go, boom, we're rolling. From here, I think I'm just gonna put my little pan on it, and yeah, get it hot. Get it nice and not too much, just a little bit. Mushrooms right away. We're just gonna put a whole bunch of mushrooms in here, and then we're gonna put a bunch of onions in here. If you're not a fan of mushroom or onions, I still suggest doing this just because it really kind of brings all the flavors together. You don't have to eat them if you just want to eat the deer meat, but mushrooms and the onions together with the meat bring out a lot of flavor. I'm gonna put a bunch of mushrooms in there, and I want these to cook down for a little bit. Alrighty, while we're letting these vegetables kind of cook down here, I'm gonna start dicing up the beautiful deer heart. This is a deer heart from a doe my dad shot earlier this year. To some of you, this might seem extremely gross, but I want to remind you, a heart is just a giant muscle, and please don't knock it until you try it. There's a lot of ventricles and stuff in here. We're gonna cut all that out, and there's just beautiful meat inside the heart. So that's what we're gonna end up frying up. But either way, gorgeous deer heart, fresh from the field, and yeah, let's get to it. And basically, I'm just gonna kind of cut it down in chunks and then strip it up from there. Not until you get to kind of the back of the heart where all the ventricles are, that's where you kind of need to cut around stuff, but this stuff is all pretty much good. If you want to cut off silver skin and stuff on the side, you can. I'll cut off a little bit of that fat, because that's the stuff that's just kind of chewy. It's not bad for you, it's just kind of chewy. And boom, just like that, we got a whole bunch of awesome deer meat right off that heart. From here, it doesn't get too technical at all. And this is right up my alley. I'm not a good cook. I've said it a million times. I'll continue to say it. I just put a little bit of seasoning in there. This Montreal steak, I like that stuff a lot. And then I just put a little bit of Lowry's in there. Everybody loves Lowry's. kind of mix that all together, and she should be good to throw in there. All right, the mushrooms and onions have cooked down a decent amount. I'm gonna cut up a little bit of butter, because after I put the meat in there, I will put some butter in there. Everything tastes good with a little bit of butter. Okay, I will say the Buddy Flex cooker gets hot really fast. I turned it down to like a medium, and while it was on high, it was just frickin' tearing these mushrooms and onions up faster than I could really cut the heart. So, as far as heat goes with this thing, yeah, you're gonna be able to fry fish or do whatever you want. You might not even need to turn it on high. And we will dump in our deer heart. Oh, yes. Bingo! So good. If you guys have never tried it and you're like, this is the grossest thing I've ever seen, please do not knock it. Just try it one time. If you like red meat, you will like venison heart. It's so good. Okay, so now I'm gonna kind of dish up and tell you about the buck I killed this year and the doe my dad killed this year and how I didn't do a good job capturing it. But I have some footage and I'll show you that. But yeah, it's like deer hunting. It never happens how you think it's gonna happen. It's always an adventure and it's always a story. So I hope all of you, I know Wisconsin's opener was just this past weekend. I think Illinois is coming up. I don't know about the rest of the states, but I hope everybody's had a safe and successful hunt this fall. And yeah, let's start to eat and talk a little deer hunting. All right, so you could obviously, you know, make some more vegetables or some taters as a side, but I'm just eating this for lunch. It's just me around the house today, so this will be fine for me. It's really good. It's really good. So, oh, this has turned into more of a mukbang. Last video you guys saw, myself and my buddies went on a crazy track job from Brok's bow buck, and we ended up finding it. Was awesome. Huge congrats again to Brok, and a huge thanks to all the buddies that helped us find that buck. It was like, God, I think a couple days after that, or maybe even a day after that, my dad and myself, we went out to land where we're hunting. You guys know where that is. And it was a morning hunt, and we hadn't seen many deer here for a long time. And then all of a sudden, it was like, I don't know, I think right around 9:30, and we kind of had agreed, like, you know, if we're not, it's rainy, it's gross out, it's horrible to be out there. We agreed earlier when we went down that morning, if we don't see anything by 9:30, which is pretty early for us to get out, let's just get out of here. It's supposed to start raining right at 9:30. So all of a sudden, right around 9 o'clock, it starts to rain. And I'm kind of slowly packing up my stuff. I'm ready to get out of there. I'm mentally not even in the stand anymore. And right as I'm kind of packing up, getting ready to hop down from the stand, I hear, and I'm like, oh, what was that? And it was definitely my dad. It was just right next to me, probably no more than 150 yards away. I'm like, oh my gosh. And all of a sudden I see two deer run. And then I see him like stop. I like lose him. I'm looking through a thicket here, kind of the thicket in between on this land that we're hunting. And I was like, what the heck? And yeah, that's when things kind of got weird. Not weird, but just interesting. We waited a little bit. I think we waited like a whole hour. I called my dad on my phone and I said, hey, I'm gonna get down and come walk to you, and we'll see if we can get that deer. And my dad said, I shot at a doe and I think I got her. And I was like, okay, that's awesome, you know, that's hell right. And he's like, the problem is there was a buck chasing her and I didn't get a shot at him, whatever. I just lost him in the thicket in between both of us. And I said, I lost him in the thicket in between both of us. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I bet he got her, but what are the odds? Never mind. So I go kind of walk all the way up to my dad, and he kind of points out where they were at in between us in this thicket. And I said, okay, I'll go try to find first blood, and you stay in your stand, and I'll go look for first blood. Let me take a couple bites here. So I walk like 40 yards away. to where I think he shot the deer at, and he's kind of directing me from his stand. We're trying not to be too loud, and it's starting to rain at this point. And mind you, I don't have any of my cameras with me. I knew it was gonna rain, and we haven't been seeing anything in the stand. So I'm like, you know what, I'm not bringing any cameras with me at all. And I'm kind of walking, and all of a sudden, I see blood. And I like raise my hand at my dad. I'm like, yeah, blood. We got good blood right here. And I'm excited. My dad's excited. He's like, okay, cool. I did hit her. Maybe she won't be too far. My dad's a pretty good shot, so I was pumped up. Kind of while he's getting down from his stand, and mind you, this is kind of in between where both of us sit, I started following the blood a little bit. And I follow it, and I follow it, and I follow it to right about where I thought that's where I lost him. Because after he shot, I could kind of see 2 deer run, and then they both stop, or I just lost them both. I made it about that far, which is only like 40 yards. And I'm like, gosh, she's got to be laying somewhere here. I thought I saw her might go down. All of a sudden, boom, deer pops up. And I'm on my feet with my gun. And I look, and I'm like, oh! And it's not the doe. It's the buck. And just reaction, it was like 15 yards away from me through this thicket. I don't know if I should have took the shot, but I'm glad I did. I just go, boom, boom. Deer drops. And I'm like, oh yeah, whoa! And my dad's like, getting down from his stand, he doesn't know what's going on. In his mind, he thinks I'm just peppering the deer. He just peppered, and now it's just gonna be shot up. And he comes down, he's like, what are you doing? He's like, I thought I hit it. And I'm like, you did hit it, but I got the buck. And he's like, what? And then we're just a bunch of high fives. We're pumped, we're happy. That was a lot of commotion. We decided to let things cool down. We walked a little bit farther. I can see the buck laying there. He's expiring. And we're like, okay, let's go grab the 4-wheeler. We know the doe's got to be somewhere pretty close. Because if the buck was staying right there, he was probably staying pretty close to the hot doe. Let's go back, get the Polaris, we'll come back, all be good. And that's where you kind of see some footage right here. So we're gonna go down there, see what we can find, and then I'll talk to you guys later. I'm like sick to my stomach. I didn't bring the camera out today. It's not all about the camera really, to be honest. I'm out here just enjoying deer camping with my dad, trying to get a little bit of meat for the winter, and I don't know, I'm still trying to capture it for you guys and myself too, but it is what it is. I'm pumped, my dad's pumped. After we find what I'm hoping we find, I'll talk to you guys later. So we got the 4-wheeler loaded up. We're at the landowner's house. We're gonna bring the 4-wheeler on down, and hopefully all goes well. I'll talk to you guys back up here. We got him. Give me some of that. Boom, give me some of that. Boom. One nice doe, one decent buck. Boom. Woo-woo. Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, right on, man. We produced again.
So from there we go up, head back to the trucks, go back to the house, grab the Polaris. I call Brok. Brok's only hunting like less than a mile away from where we hunt. He comes on down, helps us out. We walk up to it, and the buck is laying there, and no more than 10 feet from the buck, the doe is laying right there. So I think the doe died, but it was a hot doe, and the buck was just sticking with her. And even though she was dead after the shots, I think the buck just went down right next to her because he's probably just waiting for her to get up. Because when they're locked up with a doe, it's just love is in the air, and nothing's gonna break them up. So that was crazy. What started out as us not seeing anything and it be horrible weather resulted in my dad getting a doe and I shooting the buck on the ground, and they're both laying no more than 40 yards from our stands. So, and the long and the short of it, that was kind of our hunting season right there. Great success as far as our little deer camp goes. Brok got that awesome buck with his bow. Steph got a button buck with her bow. First deer ever with her bow, so congratulations to you, Steph. My dad got that doe, and then I got that 7-point buck. So we were pumped. We've got a bunch of meat for the freezer. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you check out everybody down below that I have linked. And yeah, I appreciate it. Hope everybody has a safe and successful fall. And I guess there's nothing left to be said than stay tuned. And as always, let the adventure begin. See you.
Move ahead, oh my pretty babe. Something ain't right. Got to find a way to move ahead.